It's good to see everyone. I think it's been about 72 hours since I last seen everyone. So, wanted to recap the game and then move on and answer any questions you may have. Saturday night, if it ever defined complementary football, it defined complementary football. And what do I mean by that? Well, it's offense, defense, and special teams all playing off of each other. The first example is we come up short on a 4th and 1 on the 1 yard line, which is inexcusable. We need to get the ball in and score, but we're also playing the field position game. So next play, what do? Situational football comes to play, and Justin Coleman intercepts the ball. We get the ball in the scoring position, and then we have a touchdown. At the end of the game, Josh throws an interception. Our defense forces a 3 and out, and we get the ball back on the 47. We go down and we score a touchdown. And then another scenario was in overtime. I thought our players did a very good job of managing situational football. When you look at the 1-minute drill, I think the first was 1 minute and 23 seconds in the first half, touchdown. And then you execute a 1-minute drill on the road in an SEC environment to tie the score, I believe 1 minute and 19 or so. I'll have to go 85 yards and run 9 plays with no timeouts left. And then another situational football, which we practice a lot in training camp, in spring football, was overtime period. And so again, the complementary football, the situational football, I think our players did a very good job of that. It's been a grind. Everyone around the country now wants to talk about the grind, but what about the grind we've been through? When you look at a 6-game stretch, when you throw Oklahoma, Georgia, Florida, Ole Miss, Alabama, and South Carolina in there, I'd argue with anyone about that grind, and with a very, very young football team. So the bye week is coming in at the appropriate time. We have to get some issues corrected immediately for this 3-game stretch. One of the biggest growing concerns on our football team is just our overall depth. The accumulation of reps now throughout the course of a long season is taking its toll. We had individuals that played 93 snaps. We had defensive players. We had a defensive tackle play 80-some-odd snaps Saturday night. That's where we're at in our program. But again, that's why we practice the way we practice today, to continue to try to develop depth for the presence and living in the moment, but also for the future as well. So I'll answer any questions you may have.
Coach, you talk about these guys playing a lot of reps, and Jalen has not seemed normal for a freshman since he got here, but 80-plus reps for him the other night at tailback in a game like that. Can you put that in perspective for 18-year-old kids?
Yeah, and it was a physical football game, and playing running back's a physical position, and I thought he handled it well. He's worked extremely hard in the strength and conditioning area and taking care of his body, and Jalen's mature for a freshman, and we needed him, and he performed very, very well for us and helped us play winning football, helped us win the football game Saturday night.
Take a hard look at trying to get Darrell Scott, trying to force feed him.
Yeah, we'll continue to force feed Darrell Scott. This bye week is very, very important to him, just with the overall knowledge of the offense and getting in game shape. Darrell's an individual who missed all of training camp, wasn't here in the spring. That really set him back and missed a few games. So now he's just getting kind of into a rhythm, so to speak. So yeah, we're going to rely more on him.
Who are some of those guys that are on the cusp that you really do want to have an impact these last 3 games to build that depth?
It starts in the defensive front. Demarie Mixon, Kendall Vickers, LaTroy Lewis, Jakob Johnson at linebacker, Todd Kelly Jr., some more at safety, Rashawn Golden. It's across the board. We just spoke about Darrell Scott. So again, as we make this stretch run, we're going to need more individuals to step up.
What do you guys know at this point about Justin Worley and Josh Smith?
Well, I know there's been a lot of reports, but we didn't know about Justin till late Thursday. And I give Justin Worley all the credit in the world. He tried anything and everything to rehabilitate his shoulder back, just could not get the velocity that he needs, so he's out for the rest of the year. He'll undergo surgery. Josh Smith, contrary to reports, is not going through surgery right not right now. He's going through a full examination in the next couple days to determine if he does need surgery. If that full examination comes to play that it would help his progression, then he will have surgery. But right now we're waiting on a full examination where they actually put him under, go in, do a full MRI, do some different things to see if surgery is needed.
What was the issue? Just the velocity, he couldn't get the velocity there, and finally.
Yes, just couldn't get the arm strength, couldn't get the velocity, to be able to perform at a high level.
How is he? Just how has he been kind of these last few days?
Very even keel. He was on the sideline for the game in civilian clothes and street clothing. Did a very good job of being there. He was at practice today, still going to be around the team, and now he goes from player Worley to coach Worley. And again, he's very, very excited about the victory. He's a true team player and a great character young man, as we all know, and it's very, very unfortunate.
What actually, you didn't want to say it before, but now that he's having surgery, what was the injury exactly?
It's a shoulder.
I know it's a shoulder, but I mean,
it's a labrum.
Okay.
Yep. Yes. Yep.
And it is throwing shoulder.
Yes.
With Jalen's one of a number of real big backs in the SEC, either taller or kind of heavier, is really succeeding. How much can that size kind of help him? I know he's not necessarily that heavy, but how much can his height help him third, fourth quarter of these games when he's kind of playing like that?
Well, the size helps you. And now, in the third and fourth quarter, when anytime he runs the football, it's running behind his pads in pad level. And sometimes when you're 6'3", that's a challenge in and of itself. But he's done a great job, and Coach Gillespie's done a great job of really stressing the small details, the body lean, playing with the physical style. And we've asked a lot out of him where he's really done a very good job. Where most freshmen struggles in the pass protection area. He's very physical, and he understands all of our protections.
Butch, Kurt was just talking about over there about how when Dobbs was running some scout team for y'all, he made some incredible plays that were pretty attention-grabbing for the players. Was it the same for the coaching staff as well? I mean, was he catching your eye on film?
At times, we've spoke about it. Josh's big issues have been just overall consistency, and he'll be the first to tell you that. It's just playing at a high level all the time, taking care of the football, making good decisions with the football, and that's what's really been we've been very pleased with, is he's making good decisions with the football. Obviously, he had the one throw that we need to get back, and he needs to throw it away in that critical moment, and that's a teaching tool. But again, the situational football, we thought he was very assertive Saturday night. He trusted what he saw. We thought he did a great job with his eyes, and he managed the offense.
With the team as young as you have, I mean, how critical would it be to get those extra practices that can come with being bowl eligible? Just, I guess you're accustomed to having those in Cincinnati. What does it mean to the program?
It helps you develop your football program even more. The individuals we just spoke about really trying to step up and add depth, it really adds almost the equivalent of another spring ball for these individuals. And the other thing is, it lets your football team be together. And this is a very, very close-knit football team. You don't go on the road and have a 0.9% probability of winning the football game where we were and win the football game if your team doesn't believe in each other and you don't have great team chemistry. And so it's another opportunity, more time. This team has a life expectancy that's about over with. And we talk about that all the time. So we're trying to prolong that life expectancy of this football team.
Would she go in 2 weeks from 0 rushing yards to 300-something rushing yards?
All or nothing, huh?
How much is the opponent? How much is Dobbs? How much is the offensive line getting better? How do all those factors figure in?
Mike, I think it's a combination of all those. Each game is different in and of itself because of your matchups. Some teams you match up better versus other teams. That's the game of football. But also, I think anytime you add the element of a running quarterback, that helps. We've also been able to throw the ball effectively. We've been very efficient in the throw game. I think Jalen Hurd is playing well. Saturday night, he finally got a chance to showcase some of his skill set especially on the 4th and 3 screen with the balance, the spin, and then getting vertical and getting the ball in the end zone. So I think it's a combination of a lot of things. We're still not there yet consistency-wise in the offensive front. I believe we started 5 or 6 different combinations, and that's really hard to be fluid up front when you constantly have different starting rotations. But they also are playing with a lot more confidence, and we are improving at that position as well.
What makes Josh so elusive? Kurt says kind of like tackling a wet noodle. I mean, he doesn't come across as the fastest or the strongest, but he's putting up the total yardage.
He has very, very good instincts when he runs the football. The quarterback draw for the touchdown at the end of the first half was reminiscent, or it was equivalent to not as long as, but the run that he had in the spring game. And he just has very good instincts, and he has very good vision. He's a high vision individual when he runs the football. And so I think that aids him in extending plays with his legs.
How much does that mobility help in the success you've had with the 1-minute drills lately?
I'm sorry?
How much has his mobility helped in the success you've had in the 1-minute drills the last few
It helps because he can escape the pocket. We did a very good job of getting out of bounds and stopping the clock Saturday night, and all individuals performing that drill. But anytime you can extend plays, and sometimes it's maybe not gaining yards, it's extending a play by being able to throw the ball out of bounds and live another down as well. So I think, obviously that aids in the 1-minute drill.
Butch, do you think a month ago, 6 weeks ago, that Josh Dobbs could have made a play that required him getting to his 3rd progression the way he did on the Groom touchdown pass there to force overtime?
I think that's a accumulation of repetitions in practice and doing it over and over and over again, and that's a byproduct of how far he's come. The next challenge now is him staying healthy. He's fairly healthy, he's fresh because he's played 2 games. I don't know where he would be if he would have played earlier in the year. From a health standpoint, we have to teach him how to run the football and how to get down and how to not take the necessary hits, because as you know, playing running back, playing quarterback, any position, it's an accumulation of hits. So that's the next evolution in his game. But he's come a long way, and we've really challenged him with the throw game.
What do you credit to Badley's development, not just a place kicker, but in terms of handling kickoffs for you as well?
Takes great pride in his performance, does the extra, works very hard, internalizes every single kick. I think the players around him have shown confidence in him. And again, here's another true freshman. I don't think people truly understand what this team accomplished Saturday night with only 9 individuals on the 70-person travel squad that had ever been to South Carolina before, and playing the inordinate amount of freshmen and them stepping up in critical moments in a pressure situation and making plays. And Aaron Medley's one of those. The extra point, and Patrick Ashford did a tremendous job because the snap was high, and that's another one. I called him the MVP of the game. Everyone wants to look to Josh Dobbs, but Patrick Ashford had the play of the game on the extra point kick. If he doesn't make that hold, we don't get to overtime. And then you look at Aaron Medley, making that kick in overtime with, you guys were there, the elements, the wind, all that in his face, and he makes a kick in overtime in a pressure-filled situation. And then the grind that we've been through. They're all talking about the top 25 teams and the stretch they've been in. Well, we haven't talked about it here, but we've been through a grind, we've been through a stretch, and this team hasn't blinked one bit, and I'm proud of them for that. But we have a long way to go. We have to correct our deficiencies this bye week, and we have to play better football down the stretch than what we've done.
How is Devin Young progressing? Is he a guy that you...
I'm sorry?
Devin Young, how is he progressing?
He's progressing. Still the ribs are healing. He's still nowhere ready to be game ready yet.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you.
Good for him.